If you're an American like me, your first impression with the Chinese zodiac might have been with placemats at your local Chinese restaurant. Well, fun fact for you, within that stained placemat is a legendary story that goes back thousands of years. It's a story that details how the animals of the Chinese zodiac were chosen to be, and by whom. Today we're learning about one of the most famous stories to come out of China, the race for the zodiac. Mythology with Mike is funded entirely through fan contributions from viewers like you. If you want to support the channel, consider donating on Ko-fi, Super Thanks, or becoming a YouTube member or patron. All links are in the description below. Thank you. So the story of the Chinese zodiac starts with the ruler of heaven, the Jade Emperor. Although some versions start with the Buddha, it varies, but for this I'm going to go with the Jade Emperor. The Jade Emperor wanted to host a race to see what animals could get to be on the calendar, and by extension, who would get to be spiritual guards for him in heaven. He sent out a call and said that the race would be held at the crack of dawn. Eventually, the day came, and the first up for the race were the ox and the rat. The ox charged ahead with great haste, but he was nice enough to carry the rat on his back across the river. This niceness would go to bite him in the butt, because even though he made great time, the rat jumped off his back right before they got to the finish line, meaning the rat came in first with the ox as a close second. Next up came two more quick animals, a tiger and a rabbit. They were a narrow finish, but the tiger came in third and the rabbit came in fourth. In fifth place was the dragon, and when he crossed the finish line, the Jade Emperor was so astonished by the dragon's beauty that he said, "You came in fifth and your son can come in sixth." Before the dragon was able to say anything, a snake interrupted them by claiming to be the son of the dragon. The Jade Emperor looked at the snake and then at the dragon and figured, well, they look alike, they must be related, and thus the snake was in sixth place. Next up came the horse and the goat, both of whom were extremely kind and modest creatures. They both insisted the other go first. Eventually, the Jade Emperor got so sick of them that he demanded one of them cross the finish line, and it was the horse who did. He became seventh in line, and the goat took eighth place. The last four to cross the line were in order: the monkey in ninth, the rooster in 10th, the dog in 11th, and the pig in 12th. After the pig crossed the finish line, the emperor felt he had enough guardian animals and closed the race off, as the calendar had been established. This is the general story, but of course it varies from region to region, depending on who's telling it. If you got a keen eye, you might have noticed one notable animal has been excluded from the calendar: the cat. At least in China. There are different reasons as to why the cat's not on the zodiac, again depending on who you ask. But my personal favorite reason is that the rat promised the cat he would wake him up early for the race, but when the day came, the rat didn't, and because of that the cat overslept. The cat was outraged by this, and this is why cats will forever hunt rats, because they screwed them out of the calendar. That's just one story though, and it doesn't really work in Vietnam where the cat is on the calendar, replacing the rabbit. Now, the animals are the most famous part of the Chinese zodiac, but did you know there are other components that get less attention in the West? There's a 12-animal cycle, but there's also a 5-element cycle. Yes, 5. The 5 elements are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Together, they form the philosophical theory of wuxing, a theory which tries to explain interdependence and relationships between all things. These two systems create a 60-year cycle for the zodiac, featuring all sorts of combinations, like water monkeys, metal horses, and if you're born in 1997 or early 1998, you're a fire ox like I am. Finally, yin and yang also factor in this system, turning a 60-year cycle into a 120-year cycle. But yin and yang are concepts so large they deserve a video on their own, so that's where I'm going to stop talking about them for now. One more thing. You might think that since there are 12 animals in the Chinese zodiac and 12 constellations in the Western zodiac, they must be connected, right? Well, the truth is, that's more of a happy coincidence. There are 12 constellations in the Western zodiac because that's how many constellations the sun passes through during one Earth year. There are 12 animals on the Chinese zodiac because of the orbit of Jupiter, which takes 11.86 Earth years to orbit the sun. But ancient astronomers rounded up to 12, hence where we got 12 animals from. Similarly to the Western zodiac, the Chinese zodiac can be used to try and predict what someone might be like. They're also useful for predicting who you're romantically compatible with, or what your lucky numbers are. If you believe zodiacs to be useful, that is. Whether any of that is true is ultimately up to your own interpretation, but I think we can all agree, at the very least, it's a cool story and it helps ring in the new year. The new lunar year, that is. If you want to find your own specific Chinese zodiac, check out the link in the description below. I also have my sources there too if you want to do some more reading. Anyway, thank you for watching, leave a like if you enjoy, and subscribe if you want to see more. I have a Discord where I share memes and updates on future videos, and I also have a Ko-fi where you can tip me if you feel so inclined. So until next time, Gong Xi Fa Tai.